Hello, so today I'm going to show a little bit about the Erica Synths Drum Sequencer and drum modules. So if you don't know much about them, you can just look it up. It's a drum sequencer, 16 outputs. The first 12 have accent outputs also. Their modules all have trigger and accent inputs, and so you're looking at like 2 cables per module. So that's a lot of cables. So they've got their Techno System that has the whole thing all together in one case, and it actually has the trigger and accent hooked up internally in the case underneath the modules. So I was able to order those ribbon cables from Erica Synths website. They look like this, just little, what is it, 6-pin? Yeah, 6-pin ribbon cables. And those hook from here to the backs of the modules, and it'll save you 2 per voice basically of cables on the outside, clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to install those today and we'll see how it works. This is the bottom of the drum sequencer. So these are the trigger outputs, trigger and accent outputs. They're labeled 1 through 12. The first 12 have these. So basically I'm just going to plug in these cables into those, and then the other end goes to the back of the drum modules. Alright, so there they are. I currently don't have the hi-hats or cymbals modules yet, so those last 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, will go to those. And then I'm using 1, 2 for kick snare, 5, 6, 7 for the 3 toms, and 8 for the clap. So they didn't designate which way the stripe's supposed to go, so I just picked the stripe to be on the accent side and just stayed consistent that way. So let's close it up and try it out. Alright, so it's all back together. So let's try it out. Let's put this in tap mode, turn up the volume. Those 2 switched. And like I said, I don't have the hi-hat yet, so those are triggering a that, which is the Delptronics 808 sounding module, LDB2E. So I got those triggering the hi-hats at the moment. So the other thing to test out, we can test out the accents. So I'll just go to a blank pattern here. That one's not blank. Let's go to a blank one. All right, and then I'll turn on trigger for the kick. Alright, let's try this again. So it appears that the accent doesn't work unless you change a jumper that's on the back of the drum module. So I just changed it on the clap one to the other position. It said basically something like accent internal external or something to that effect. So I moved it to the other spot and it seems to be working now. So like you can see here, I've got accented, and then these 2 not. You can hear the difference now. So that's working now. So now I just need to pull all the other ones back out and move that jumper. Yay! jumpers are moved on the back of the modules. They're all getting their signal now. So I can try to just program in something really quick. We'll switch over to and turn on trigger on all of these. 6, 7, and 8. And I'll put a little drums in. Yeah, that one's working. Yep. And let's put some claps. So it's working. Trigger and accent all hooked up underneath. There's like a bajillion less cables, which, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 to be exact. When I get the hi-hat and cymbal modules, you know, that's 4 more triggers and accents that will be eliminated. So that's cool. I'm going to show you one more trick in just a second with this that I read about. So in review, if you want to use the trigger accent cables hooked up underneath it, you order them from Erica Synths website. You just plug them in, make sure the stripe is the same on both sides, and then on the modules you have to move the jumper. The jumper says basically whether the accent is controlled by the sequencer from that ribbon cable or from the front panel. So I assume the accent inputs don't do anything since I moved that. I don't really know because I'm not triggering with anything else, but alright, so I said I'd show you one more trick. So I read this in the manual for the Techno System. Since I have a bunch of the modules, it's actually pretty useful and has some pretty cool patches and stuff in it, so it's definitely worth downloading. But one thing it said is that there's a Techno System mode on the sequencer that labels your tracks to the way they're wired to the triggers. So I chose to wire mine the same way. It basically has bass drum, snare, 2 for their sample drum module, which I don't have, so I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway though. I can always hook it to my sampler, the bit box. And then low, mid, high, tom, clap, hi-hats, and cymbals. So apparently when you start it up in this mode, it switches it to the Techno System mode where those things are labeled. I have not tried this, but I'm going to try it now. So it said to hold down 13 through 16 while powering up. So here we go. And it worked. Probably can't see it, but trigger 1 says BD for bass drum, snare drum, sample 1, sample 2, low tom, mid tom, high tom, clap, closed hat, and open hat, and then cymbals are labeled crash and ride. That is pretty cool. Oh, my delay is going crazy. So anyway, so there's a little fun thing. So I'm glad I did turn that on. And then 13, 14, 15, 16 are left unlabeled. So pretty cool. So they're labeled, so you don't have to guess where everything is. So anyway, that is my little fun project of the day. Hope you enjoyed. Please write any questions in the comments that you might have. And thanks for watching.